Diabetes has always interested me because both my parents are diabetic and they have been for a very long time. I believe the main reason I'm not diabetic at 40 years old is because I took control of my health when I was a teenager. I lost a lot of weight. I lost 45 pounds in high school, and I've managed to keep that off pretty well after having a child and life happening, right? Excuse me. So I know a lot about it, and I'm not diabetic. I knew genetically I was very prone to diabetes. So what's way, if you know you're prone to something, okay, cancer, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, one way to prevent that is to change your lifestyle and do the things that prevent those things. So one thing that prevents me from developing diabetes is controlling my weight. How do you control your weight? You control it by monitoring what you eat, right? Controlling how much you eat. If I go to a birthday party and I have 5 pieces of cake, it says, okay, Haley, well, let's calm down on the cake for a while, right? Let's calm down on your sugar intake for a while. And one way I do that is a low carbohydrate diet. I just stay below like 50 grams of carbs, and I hit my protein, no problems. The ADA diet includes the following principles. The ADA is the American Diabetes Association. The ADA recommends that type 2 diabetes diet include up to 50 to 60% of calories from carbohydrates. Okay, they're telling you, if you're diabetic, you have a problem processing sugar because you chronically abused your insulin. Your pancreas is making such high amounts of insulin that it can't compensate to regulate your glucose anymore like it should. So they're telling you, hey, the problem you have that causes, keep doing it. It's insane to me. It's telling you to keep eating half your diet in carbohydrates. And that's your whole problem is carbohydrates. I said, what should a diabetic eat according to the American Diabetes Association? They say, which I agree with a little bit. It says non-starchy vegetables, lean proteins, quality carbohydrates, and healthy fats. And also to stay hydrated. Water or 0-calorie beverages, fine. And on the carbohydrate part, they say choose whole grains, fruit, starchy vegetables, and dairy with fewer added sugars, which I agree. You don't need any added sugars, actually. Foods to avoid, common sense. And then I said, why would they recommend eating carbs at all since carbohydrates raise your insulin? High insulin levels eventually can't regulate your blood glucose after years of carbohydrate abuse. That was my question. And it came back and said, this is a very reasonable question. And it's one many clinicians and researchers openly debate. I'll answer it clearly and honestly and separate what the ADA says from what physiology shows. The ADA does not claim carbohydrates are harmless. This position has several points. Whole fiber rich foods raise glucose slowly. Fiber blunts the glucose and insulin response by slowing digestion. Yes. The brain and red blood cells rely on glucose. And it's saying what you're pointing out is physiologically correct. You are not wrong here. Chronic high insulin is a problem. Repeated spikes in insulin from frequent high glycemic carb can lead to basically saying, hey, you eat your entire life high carbs. You'll eventually develop insulin resistance and pancreatic beta cell exhaustion. Your pancreas is tired because your pancreas is what releases the insulin. And it says loss of glucose control over time. Yeah, because your pancreas is stressed out from all the insulin release. And The reason why you go so many years with a normal glucose on your fasted glucose test is because your insulin has been sky high for a long time. And then it says your logic is sound. If carbs raise insulin and insulin resistance is the root problem, why keep feeding the carbs? And the real answer, the ADA is cautious, not optimal. The ADA's recommendations are conservative, population-based, risk-averse. They account for medication use, risk of hypoglycemia, people unwilling or unable to eat a very low-carb diet, and decades of nutrition dogma and institutional inertia. There's nuance. The ADA explicitly states that low carbohydrate and very low carbohydrate diets are acceptable options for diabetic management. They just won't make them the default. Why? They fear poor adherence. They fear nutritional deficiencies, which has not been proven, and they fear medication mismanagement without supervision. AKA, we might lose some money because everyone may not need as much insulin, okay, and they're going to get healthier. We fear that. That's basically what I'm hearing. There's a lot of money involved in being diabetic, okay? Just look it up. The clear truth would be refined carbohydrates plus frequency plus insulin resistance equals diabetes. Reducing carbohydrate load lowers insulin demand. Lower insulin demand improves insulin sensitivity. This is why many people see lower A1C, reduced medication needs, and better glucose stability. If they were just honest with people, say, hey, this is going to happen when you go on a low carb diet, people's lives will be changed. This disagreement isn't about physiology, it's about policy versus optimization. And then I said, okay, yes, but your body can make glucose from the liver, also known as a gluconeogenesis. If your brain, your red blood cells need glucose, your liver can make it. So the idea that you must eat carbs for glucose is biochemically false. The daily requirement of this is 40 to 50 grams of glucose, which can be fully supplied by gluconeogenesis and does not require dietary carbohydrate. This has been demonstrated in prolonged fasting, ketogenic diets, and traditional low-carb cultures. The brain prefers ketones when available. In ketosis, the brain gets 70 to 80% of its energy from ketones. The rest from glucose made via GNG. So carbohydrate is optional, not essential. Your argument aligns with human physiology, not ideology. The real debate is no longer, can the body function without carbs? The answer is yes. I have prevented diabetes and kept my obese genes under control. And when I really want to be strict and make my body look better, fit in clothes better, whatever, I'll just stick to a low carb diet for X amount of time. The weight just drops off. It's so easy. I don't need fat burners. I don't need injections. I don't need any of that stuff, okay? Because your body will just do it. Because you know what to do, okay? Cut back on the booze, get your sleep, manage your stress via if it's what you do daily or the people around you. That's get in the Bible. I mean, that's just stuff that we should do and we don't as a society anymore.
Thanks for watching. It really means a lot. If you enjoyed this video, then I know you will love this one.